Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. This video is about a poor versus rich mindset and why most people stay stuck. Now this video is not about how much money you make or how to make money or stuff like that. It's nothing like that. Because there are many people out there who earn six figures or more and are still broke on the inside. Then there's people who make very little to nothing and are quietly building on the inside and building what they want to do, their freedom. This is about being stuck, feeling like you're just running in place and not going anywhere, not doing anything. What I call the poor mentality, which I've been stuck in. Now, the biggest difference between staying poor or having no money and growth or growing rich isn't about education or luck or opportunities or things like that. It's about habits, choices, and responsibility. Not once in a while, not when it feels good, but this is an everyday thing. Now, there's a myth that keeps people stuck. We were taught something early in life that quietly destroys momentum. We were taught that money changes people. But that's not quite true. It's more like money reveals people. If someone avoids responsibility when they're broke, or doesn't have good financial education, doesn't educate themselves financially, they do the same thing when they become wealthy and wind up losing everything. If someone is blaming the system, the bosses, their past, and they keep blaming, they'll keep doing this. They'll keep blaming and blaming no matter how much wealth they have. It's about stuck thinking versus growth thinking. See, the stuck thinking feels comfortable. Like I mentioned before, that's a trap. You become comfortable, then you're not going to do anything. You have to get out of that kind of comfortable, stuck mentality and become more of a growth mentality. Now, people just stay in a poor mentality without even realizing it. It's not like it's a conscious thing. There's a lot of habits that people do that keep them in a poor situation, broke situation, financially broke. And this goes for me as well. They spend most of their time consuming things. Things like, TV, social media, the endless scrolling, mindless scrolling on things. They're not resting, they're escaping. And then comes, people start blaming things then after that. The economy, the government, parents, boss, their health, their age, the complaints starting, and excuses, I should say, start coming in. But that's at an expense of not growing yourself and not getting yourself out of that mentality. They don't start any kind of hobbies. They don't pursue anything. They just go to work, come home. Go to work, come home. That kind of mentality. And the thing that happens is when they're comfortable, and you want to do something, it steals that from you. It steals that drive that you want to develop to push yourself forward to get unstuck. You stay in that comfort zone. You stay in that without realizing it. People don't realize they're doing this. This includes me. This is, I was this way too. You're staying like a poor mentality. You're in your little comfort zone, and you want to do something, but you don't do anything. You don't become disciplined to do anything. You don't take the action to do anything. Now, on the other hand, how do people actually become wealthy, or get out of that poor mentality and unstuck and on the road to becoming and gaining their freedom? People who want to do this, they do things like they read a lot, not to impress anybody, but just to understand what's going on. Like I mentioned before, financial education. Read about it. Read things that you're curious about. You have a question about something, go look it up. There's tons and tons of free ways of educating yourself. Instead of scrolling or watching, cat videos and things like that, put something on for a few minutes that's going to educate you on something you want to know about. That'll help you to break out of that poor mentality. You do things like they save a little bit, learn a new skill, improve on one little habit. You do little things. You do these small things, like I said, one step at a time. You do these things to make yourself more disciplined and get yourself from the poor mindset into the growth and wealth mindset. They build things like people who want to grow themselves and become into that wealth mentality. They'll build new skills, they'll make hobbies, and out of a hobby, a lot of times they'll just turn it into a small business or a side hustle or something like that to increase their income, to get themselves out of debt, so forth and so on, and then move forward. They search for things. Like I said, if you're curious about something, look it up. There's tons of ways. There's AI you can use. YouTube, tons and tons and tons of free stuff. Google it. People know how to do that. Everyone has a phone. Everybody has a phone. Boom. You can look up anything you want. Just to educate yourself and to financially educate yourself to help you get out of that mindset and into the growth mindset. Now, becoming wealthy or getting into that wealth mindset comes down to choosing what you do every day. Like I was saying, instead of just mindlessly watching TV for an hour or scrolling through things, watching the cat and dog videos for an hour. Take that same amount of time and educate yourself. There's lots of free courses. There's tons of free info. Like I keep saying, I keep repeating this because you need to do these things in order to get yourself out of that poor mindset and into a growth mindset if you want to become unstuck. Now, doing these things might seem to feel a little strange at first, a little uncomfortable, and that's normal, that's fine, because they might, most likely will. And that's what you need to do. Get out of that little comfort zone, stick your head out, and start educating yourself on things. Just at first, there's some things you're curious about. That's what I did. I just had a question pop in my head, and I would type it in, Google it or whatever, or look up a video on it on YouTube or something like that to find out what it's about, to answer my question or what I'm curious about. Okay, now I at least I've learned that little bit. And you move on to something else. And you build upon everything. Build, depending upon what you want to do. And this all ties in with becoming more, you do these things, you'll become more disciplined. Action, consistency, persistency will make you more disciplined. You become disciplined, there's your motivation as well. Your motivation becomes your discipline. And you're going to get out of that poor mindset and into the growth mindset and get unstuck. Now, I hope this is making sense to some people. Hopefully you watched the whole video to get that one little nugget of information. That's all it takes, is one little nugget, to get you going, to get you curious, to get yourself out of that, to switch your mindsets from the poor to the wealth growth, so you become unstuck and you can gain your freedom. So that being said, I will see you in the next video.